How an entrepreneur should interpret these various reports they look at is they need to follow key matrices or key KPIs. Fancy word, they'll say follow your ratios, have some sort of ratio analysis. But there are three questions you need to answer. Number one is, how am I doing this year? But you can never look at that in isolation. You need to first compare, how am I doing to my peers? We'll call them your competitors. So respectively in your competition, how are you doing? How am I doing against myself last year this time? That's one of the comparisons you need to do. How am I doing compared to my budgeted, what I thought I would have been doing? Where am I? The moment you have these three, then you have some sort of benchmark to say, when I look at the people I'm doing business with, because they're experiencing the same economic turbulence that I'm going through as well, or they're experiencing also the opportunities that I have as well. Because ideally, the moment you see your industry performing better than you need to be asking yourself, are there certain opportunities I'm not taking advantage of that my next competitor is taking advantage of? But if generally it's a slump season for everyone, then at that point in time, you need to be moving in line. If you're doing astronomically out of that, that should tell you that I need to start either saving cash because the dry seasons are coming up, or I need to start preparing to take up opportunities because the rainy seasons is also coming up. So that comparison always gives you a benchmark, same as your last year to this year. If I'm now comparing to how I did last year, firstly it tells me, am I growing? If I look at the amount of sales, the number of sales I had last year and the number of sales I had today, again, back to our retail example. If last year at this time I had 400 or so people coming into my store, this year I have 800 people. That is a clear indication, right? Same store size. Actually, that might start hinting that I should be getting second premises or a larger store because I am growing. However, if the inverse happens, then I need to start getting worried. Why am I getting less people? Should I be focusing on my marketing? Is there something I could be doing? So you need to always compare things, because if you just look at it and you say, I had 400 people that came into the store, what does that mean? Right? And then from there, the last comparison, which is extremely important, is against your budget. Because when you're doing the budget process, you would have really applied your mind in saying, how do I want this year to go in a best case scenario? Anything that deviates from there should be a reason. Investigate those reasons. Start closing the tabs. And you'll see one of the first areas you start having major differences. It's in your expenses. When you start off the year, when you're planning your expenses, you are a good person. You're going to spend well. You are disciplined. But 3 months into the business, check those expenses. Then start asking yourself questions. When I said I needed to have this budget for this particular expenses, and now I've exceeded it, what are the implications of it? What does this mean for the cash flow down the road? What does this mean for the clients that I've serviced that have not paid me? What does that mean for my suppliers? Because all of this start having a ripple effect. But the comparison between yourself last year, your budget, and your peers are very critical in this process.